Can I motivate you today? Mike Motivation Podcast. Also, let's build a community of logical thinkers. People that think through things, people that think about things as much as they can, as often as they can. The mind is a great tool. Your thoughts can be your assets when you point them in the right direction. Comment, let me know what you think. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments if there's some topics you'd like to hear me talk about. And if somebody said, hey, Mike, where are you from? I am from Southwest Little Rock, Arkansas, where I grew up as a teenager. My family, my roots are from Sweet Home, Arkansas, outside of Little Rock on 365. But primarily what I learned, the things that I learned is in Southwest. Chico, Baseline, a little bit on Wakefield, but I mostly grew up in Chico, Baseline area. That was my roaming grounds. BP for those who know. The detail shop for those who know. And that's where I grew up at. McClellan, 2001. That's where I grew up at. And that's where I'm from. So when I make these topics on the Thinking Game podcast, whether on this podcast I'm going to talk about, it's all from experience. It's all from things that I saw growing up with my own two eyes. And I try to give this insight back to anybody who wants to hear it, because I believe that if you make the right choices and decisions, you can change, you can make your outcomes better. That's the whole crux of what I'm doing. Trying to tell my young bulls, my young people out there, make good, smart decisions, especially now going into the summer. Some of you are graduating. You got a lot of free time on your hands. We're going to get into that, but make good decisions and avoid burdens as a man. Avoid the burdens that come with it. So, with that being said, avoid burdens by setting yourself up for success. What do I mean by that? You have to. They told me bust out my AP. Perfect time, man. You can avoid burdens by setting yourself up with some kind of educational plan, whether it's trades, vocation, certification, or military. But you have to sit down and make a plan. You have to look at the options on paper. Because if you just sit down and just talk to somebody in 5 minutes, that's not enough time. It takes time to craft a plan, and then you have to see the commitment that you have to make. There's one thing that if I can really go back and talk to the young kid, I talk to them about is the commitment. Your success comes with the work you put in and the commitment that you put into it. There is a commitment. There is no quick success. Don't fall for this stuff that's on social media. This stuff gonna have you messed up, having a lot of burdens on your chest, saying your mental health is in a bad place. But you can avoid burdens by setting yourself up for success. If anybody else thinks that you can't, let me know in the comments. I would definitely let you know, but you can. Because when I was younger, 17, graduating high school, I didn't go to school right out of high school. And I probably should have done it, but I didn't. And there was a lot of little burdens, little things I had to learn because of the choices that I was making and the things that I was doing. So I'm not telling you from a place of a privilege. I'm telling you a person that grew up in Southwest Little Rock, Baseline, Chico, that whole little area. I'm telling you, I grew up in the inner city too, so I'm not saying this from a place of I'm looking down or I'm saying you can do it or pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I'm not saying it. I'm telling you from a person that grew up from the inner city who had to go get it. And pretty much that's the point of view that I'm coming from. The next one is, if you don't know, find out and maximize time. If somebody asks you what you want to do, you're 17, 18, 19, what you want to do? I don't know. At some point, you have to know what you want to do. And that takes sitting down, coming up with a plan or strategy, and figuring out the commitment that's going to be involved and executing that strategy. And you know what? Sometimes when you on the path of that commitment, things are going to happen in life, but you have to find something that no matter what happens, you're going to stick to it and you're going to finish it. Things will happen. I'm telling you from a person that's going to school now, things have happened. But when you make your mind up that I don't want future burdens because I made some tough or bad choices and they come back and bite me in the butt, you have to find out, do the research on your own. Sometimes people around you don't have the answer. You have to find the answer. It's not going to be given to you. And when you get the mindset that I'm a go-getter, I'm going to go get the answer, even though I don't have it, that's when you start to see the things that open up to you. But if you don't know, find out and maximize your time. So, being aware of opportunities when making moves. A lot of times when you graduate, if you don't go to college, you don't go to any of these things, some kind of post-education, most people, I know I did, you just go get a job. You try to find if you can, you try to find a daytime job. It's probably easier now, but when I was young, you either gonna work that 2 to 11 shift or you're gonna work the night shift, 11 to 7 or something like that. Most jobs, those regular jobs, when you're young, they'll try to start you out unless you can get a job where you work like 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that. But while you are working, keep your mind open and aware of opportunities in order to develop yourself. Don't just get stuck working the job. And that is a choice. There are so many ways to develop yourself. I had to look into those ways. But what the mistake that I made is that I wasn't looking at those opportunities till later, but I could have been looking at them while I was working the regular jobs. What do I mean by that?
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
So when I worked at Baskin Robbins, I was in high school. That was a little too young probably to do multiple things because you're not old enough yet. So they closed down thinking I was in 11th grade. But when I graduated high school, I was working at Subway. One thing that I could have did if I was aware of it, but I was not, is I could have just went to college and took one class a semester. Core classes, the English, the math, the science. I could have just did that. Just one class semester if I didn't want to do a full load. One class. I could have went to an apprenticeship, be an electrician, work with my hands. And I would have worked on site, according to what they tell you. You work on site, they pay you, and then you come back and learn about the electrician stuff in the classroom as well. You get your hours in, you become a journeyman, right? Another thing, if you don't want to do that, you can be a firefighter. Take the aptitude test, pass that. Take the physical test, you pass that. Then you go to training. I think they still do it in Camden, if I'm not mistaken. You get past that. Now you start to become a firefighter, learn how to be a first responder. Great career. Great career. I think even police officers are now getting paid like starting out at 45, 50 grand, which is great. If you can get that, that is great. But you got to be aware of these opportunities because they it's like windows of opportunity that come up. Like you may see a message about firefighters that come up, and you could take the test around this time. Police officer, you take it around this time. Military, you get with a recruiter. He puts you up on when to take the ASVAB test and stuff like that. So many opportunities. Apprenticeship. The one that I learned about, but it was way after high school, is one on 65th on Forbin Road, an electrician apprenticeship. There are a lot back there on 65th. You live in that area, the plumbing apprenticeships, all kind of stuff. You have to go look for it. It's out there. All you gotta do is look for it. If you can find all this stuff on social media, I'm sure you can find opportunities to develop yourself. You can't tell me that you can go find this on TikTok, but you can't go find an apprenticeship. You can't find an opportunity to put yourself at a higher value on the job market. However, you got to be aware of opportunities when making moves. So, the process that leads to some burdens, the process. No burdens, they don't happen overnight. Sometimes it can be choices that lead up to choices. Bad decision. Sometimes you can make good decisions. It can happen. But what I will say is the better decisions you make, you lessen the chance of a heavy burden coming your way. If you plan your finances right, don't take on recurring bills that you don't need and pay your bills on time, you lessen the chance of having a financial burden. When you are reckless with your finances and you don't allocate where your money's going or where you're spending it, or you just spending it frivolously, you increase the chance of having a financial burden. When you in the streets and you playing with that gun, you playing with them drugs, you're increasing the chance of having a legal burden. What's a legal burden? 30 years in the penitentiary, 30 plus years, 30 to life. Who knows? When you're out here doing that gunplay, definitely you got to think about the burden that can come with that. And then let's say you shoot somebody, you get away with it. Now you got the burden of thinking, is this person gonna come back and shoot me? There's a burden with that. Talking to multiple women, there is a burden that comes with that. You got kids out of wedlock, child support, diseases, and some dudes are dealing with the burdens of headaches, according to them, having bad baby mamas or mother of their kids. Burdens. You mess with the wrong person and it can be a burden to you. You wish you never met the person. That's why it's a process. When you really think, logically think, when I look back on some of the burdens that I put on myself, I got there through a process of choices and decisions. I had to be accountable for that. And I'm telling you, you don't have to tell all this, to just think about how you got to where you are and see how can I make better choices now going forward. That's what it's all about. Correcting, adjusting, making better choices. I can't stress it enough. Overcoming the mental battle of feeling burdened. As a man, I think we don't talk about it enough, and most times you don't. But we go through mental battles of feeling burdened. You feel like you don't have enough. or you feel like I just don't have enough energy at certain times when I need it, or you feel the burden of you make enough, but you don't have the extra to do other things, right? And reason why I'm saying that is if you go to school early, when you get out of high school, if you take that initiative and commit to developing yourself, you can just about knock out a lot of those things and you won't be as burdened as you think. At that point, you can be aware of opportunities coming and you'll be qualified because you got your education or your certification or vocation. You got all that out the way when you were young. You can have all of that done by the time you're 24 years old. Well, let me tell you what happens when you don't do that. Let me tell you, paint a picture for you of the person who don't do that, just a general person. The general person graduates school and just goes to work at a retail place, work at a warehouse. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm telling you how it worked. You work there 5 to 7 years. You only probably got maybe 2 or 3 raises in that 5 to 7 year span. So you're probably making like $35,000, $38,000. You may think it's cool because you're single, but when you start taking on a family, you're going to find out, you're going to feel the burden that that's not enough. You're going to feel it that it's not enough. And if you don't have the qualifications or credentials, it becomes very tough to elevate in the corporate world. It'll feel like a burden to you. You feel like, man, I know I'm qualified for this position, but I keep getting these emails saying I don't have the education qualifications. It happens. I've been there. It happens. I've been in interviews, killed the interview. They couldn't believe it. They said, man, we cannot hire you because we need you to have the degree. I've been there. And I want to say this.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
There's a natural part of a man that you feel that burden of being a provider. You want to make sure that you can provide for your family, your wife and kids at all times. And it's not easy because if it was easy, everybody would do it. But what I would say is if you prepare yourself young and you get your education, get yourself in a career that's valuable, that is of value, you can eliminate a lot of the burdens of being a provider because you set yourself up for success. But what I will say is, I talked about this, I need to post that video later on in the NBA, is that it's stuff out there you think you know, you thinking. It's a difference between thinking and knowing. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a difference between thinking and knowing. You think about something, but then when you get the experience, now you know. And the mental battle, a lot of men, they feel the burden of the system or the race relations or dealing with unfairness. And it can be a burdensome kind of situation because you're trying your best to provide for your family. But there's a mental battle of feeling like there's this hurdle that you got to jump and it just keeps getting taller. You can't jump it. But I'm here to tell you that not only can you jump it, but you can jump higher, but you got to set yourself up for success. You have to. You cannot expect somebody to just come reach down and give you something or you're going to feel the mental battle of being burdened. You have to be a go-getter. There will be times as a man that you will have the mental battle of feeling burdened. But what I will say is, with the infinite wisdom of God and the guidance, you can overcome the mental battle of feeling burdened. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this. The minute that I put my faith in God and I trusted God fully, when I trusted God and put my faith in God, I showed myself I don't have to worry about what the future is, because when you're in Christ, He has you covered. But you have to be in Christ, not out of Christ, but in Christ. Even if you're struggling, struggle inside of Christ, struggle inside of Christ. Don't struggle outside of Christ. It's a whole different struggle. Believe me, I'm telling you. It's a whole different struggle, a whole nother mental battle, feeling burdened when you outside of Christ. But when you inside of Christ, you got a whole different kind of perspective, a whole different kind of mindset. And right now, my birthday is Saturday. I'm turning 42. My mind is fixed on being positive. It's fixed. And I thank God for giving me the mindset to fix my mind on positivity. Even when things are negative, I still try to find the positive. Even if I say God is building me for something, this is shaping me for something. I just have to pass the test and not fall for the negativity. That's how you overcome the mental battle of feeling burdened. Staying positive. Things will happen. It's life. The car breakdown. Something happened on the house. You don't have the money to get it fixed right now. You kind of got to wait. Be patient. That don't mean you don't feel burdened, but you have to stay positive. You have to be patient. And sometimes, sometimes, all the time, you got to pray. Positive, patience, and pray. The 3 P's. Wow. Positive, patience, and pray. That's how you overcome the mental battle of feeling burdened. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Let's build a community of logical thinkers. Let's think our way through things. Don't be so quick to react. Think first. Comment. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Share the content. Mike Motivation. Can I motivate you? I can reach more people through video than I can one at a time. I hope that the content that I make reaches somebody. I'm not worried about, trying to go viral or anything. I'm trying to make content that somebody can actually use and apply based on the things I went through, sharing my own experiences. I grew up in the inner city just like most people look like me did. I didn't come from a family of affluence. None of that. I had to get through my crazy season of making crazy choices and get back on the right track and make better choices. And get back in Christ. And now I'm here passing it back to tell you, get yourself in Christ and make great choices. And I promise you, it'll turn around. It worked for me. I think it'll work for you too. Thanks for watching. Mike Motivation. I'm signing out.